I was never late. There was something comforting in that routine, the familiar rhythm of my days at the law office. I sat at my desk, the clock ticking away as I filed another mundane case or prepared for client meetings. Everything was predictable: coffee runs, morning greetings, and meticulously arranging my staplers and post-it notes just so. But lately, that routine felt like it had shifted in a way I couldn't quite grasp. It all began with Jennifer, the newest member of our team. At first, she brought a refreshing energy. She'd share silly jokes during lunch, and we'd chat about our favorite shows. But gradually, I started to notice something unsettling in the way she observed those around her. It wasn't mere curiosity. There was an intensity to it, almost predatory in nature. I tried to dismiss it as my overactive imagination. One Friday evening, as I was winding down for the day, I felt a chill sweep through the office. The temperature had dropped noticeably, enough for me to pull on my cardigan. When I glanced at the thermostat, it read 62 degrees. I barely remembered setting it so low. When I mentioned it, Jennifer simply smirked and said, "I guess someone's just trying to keep it cool for efficiency." I laughed it off, yet that smile lingered uneasily in my mind. That night, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Just as I was about to leave, I heard her voice. "Are you leaving so soon?" I nodded. "Yeah, I think I've done enough for the week. Don't forget the wrapping party tomorrow night," she reminded me. "You know how important it is for team spirit." I could have said no, but wanting to appear friendly, I agreed. That decision, however, would later weigh on me. When the weekend arrived, I was surprised by how much I looked forward to the party. I envisioned a warmly lit room filled with laughter and conversation. But when I arrived slightly late on Friday, the office was dim, and only a few colleagues were mingling. The sounds of chatter drifted from the conference room. Jennifer was at the center, dressed in a striking red dress, her eyes glistening with an unsettling intensity. She had a remarkable way of drawing people in, yet tonight the atmosphere felt different, heavier. I noticed others exchanging uneasy glances at their drinks, as if unsure about what she had poured. I tried to engage in light conversation, but later, I realized I hadn't seen anyone refill their drinks. Everyone clutched the same worn plastic cup. Jennifer kept pouring more wine, her laughter sharp against the muted background noise. Then, in a fleeting moment, the energy shifted. As I walked to the bathroom, I passed the break room and heard a conversation that felt like an intrusion. "But they don't understand what it takes. They think it's just fake it till you make it. But you need to give them a taste of real. Balance is key." Her words carried a dangerous undertone, one that settled uncomfortably in my stomach. I considered intervening, but decided against it, brushing it off as casual work talk. My heart raced as I walked away. As the night wore on, I was pulled back into the chatter, but unease lingered. I joined some colleagues in the main conference room, where Jennifer captured everyone's attention with another elaborate story. Her voice was confident, enchanting, yet in the back of my mind, doubt knotted tighter. When I excused myself to grab another drink, the atmosphere felt oppressive. Perhaps it was just the alcohol, but as I returned, I saw Jennifer. "You still here?" I asked, forcing a smile. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," she replied, her eyes narrowing slightly. "You know, you should really consider the office's core values." I was taken aback. What did she mean? Her words felt entangled with an unsettling tension. The laughter around me grew too loud, too overwhelming, as if everyone was caught in a spell. "Mind if I take a look at those drinks?" I asked, attempting to break the spell. She hesitated, just long enough for me to notice. "Sure, but it's best if you don't mix them." "Right, wouldn't want to waste any," I said, trying to sound casual, but deep down, something felt off. I switched gears, returning to the crowd, but the air thickened. As I lifted my drink to toast, Jennifer's voice cut through the noise. "Remember, it's all about the right balance." Her words twisted in the air, and I felt the room's energy shift once more. I was aware of an undercurrent of urgency, an unnerving need in the way everyone sipped their drinks, their eyes fixated on her. Seeking fresh air, I stepped outside the conference room. The office felt eerie now. Shadows danced in the corners. I could still hear her voice, a warped melody, drifting from within. With trepidation, I found my way to the break room. It was empty, but then I spotted something glimmering. Tightly wrapped plastic around wine bottles, discarded like afterthoughts. Moments later, I sensed her presence behind me. I turned to see Jennifer framed in the doorway, half her face bathed in shadow. "Did you enjoy the drink?" she asked, her smile disconcertingly vacant. I nodded slowly, unease tightening in my gut. Something about her presence felt cold, and I began to piece together the reality of what was unfolding. "Hey, what were you saying about core values?" I asked, desperate to regain a sense of normalcy. Her eyes sparkled. "You shouldn't ask so many questions. It's vital to keep things balanced." I stepped back, leaving her in the doorway, an ominous silhouette against the glow of the office lights. But as I entered the conference room, panic gripped me. My colleagues were no longer animated. They stood in eerie silence, transfixed by Jennifer, their faces blank and eyes glazed. Was it the wine? I barely had time to ponder that as I turned back toward her, who now raised her glass high, a conqueror amidst her subjects. "Look! Everyone is finally embracing the true spirit of our work. You'll understand soon enough," she declared, causing a chilling unease to wash over me. I took another step back, observing as the scene unfolded like a disorienting film. Drinks flowed, voices rose in a strange harmony, and the room vibrated with a synchronized energy, mirroring her every move. I backed away, frightened and desperate for an exit, glancing around for a way out. But the hallway stretched longer and dimmer, shadows teasing the edges of my vision. My thoughts raced with dread, and a singular question hovered, sharp and piercing. What had I unwittingly become a part of? In the depths of that eerie stillness, something whispered through the air. "It's only a matter of trusting the process." That felt like a rule I should heed. As I stood there, enveloped by the pervasive atmosphere, time seemed to blur, and all I could think of was the unsettling realization of what had begun to unravel. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share it with someone who enjoys quiet horror.